Hey there everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name's Chris Orme, and today we're back with our Academy series for FM20, looking today at players and signings, what to look for, what you can ignore, and my own thoughts on what makes a player good, what makes a good player great, and kind of how to tell the difference and how to get from one to the other. So we're going to jump into a bunch of stuff, but signings. The players play the games, but you can get away with not having the best. But you need to have something. So, in video 1 we looked at our tactics. We've got a really decent tactic set up. And we know, kind of now, based on this, we actually know what we need. So we need ball-playing defenders. We need attacking fullbacks, or at least very physical fullbacks, because they're going to do a lot of running. And then we're kind of creative in midfield. And then strikers, like goal scorers. That's what I want. I'd love hard workers, but I'll take one very quick and one hard worker. Like goalkeepers, they just need to be really good at their job. Strikers need to be really good at their job. Midfielders just need to be creative and responsible defensively. These guys are workhorses up and down the flanks. These guys basically just need to help not concede. So we've got an idea what kind of each player type looks like. So we can then jump from here into the scouting screen. Now we've got nothing here. We set up our packages for the world because we're that sort of, we're that big, we're that good. Our regional knowledge from all our players and affiliates and everything else is all set up quite well. We've got great coverage around the world. So if you look at our scouted player list, you can see there are some players that would help us, of course. Bernardo Silva, Raheem Sterling, Ederson from Man City, Matheus Enrique, who would be available for like less than 20 million, I'm being told would be huge for us. 28 million to Liverpool. Okay. I wasn't expecting this, but this is actually a pretty good idea of our first category within signings, which is signing players for their current ability. Can they play now? Matheus Enrique, yes. Yes, he can. Would he be in my first team? Would he be in my first team 11? Probably not. He'd probably be on the bench. And that's not his fault. We just happened to have signed like 2 phenomenal midfielders over the last couple of years and already had a couple there. Yeah. It's going to be tough for him to break into the team right now. But he's close. He's very close. He's very close. So, he can play centre midfield. That's what I like. His 2 roles, advanced playmaker and deep line playmaker. He can also play deep line playmaker defend, which is probably where I would play him. So as the central of my midfield 3. If anything, I need one of those that I don't really have right now. So he'd be a very good fit for those reasons. And what can he do? He can dribble. My midfielders need to run with the ball. Good first touch, good technique, good passing. I love those. If he's playing that defensive deep line playmaker role, marking, tackling need to be high. He's got good positioning, good work rate, teamwork, great vision. Those are all key for my midfielders. For an attacking midfielder off the ball, I really do like that. So he could break forward. If we did go to a defensive midfield, I was going to say, he's my segundo. He really fits quite well in that. So we play dual segundos, but he'd be a really good option for it. Moving back here on the defensive side of things, though. He lacks leadership, but he's got everything else in mental. He's not that aggressive, but great anticipation, composure, decisions, and concentration. Those are key defensive, sort of don't make mistake kind of stats. And anticipation is capitalize on opportunities, whether it's being able to run past someone, intercept the ball, being able to see someone's run with their vision, and anticipation, you'll be able to set up a lot of good situations. So they're really good. Even as deep-lying defensive playmakers, they'll be really good stats to have. He's just got 14s and 15s everywhere. So it's hard to kind of critique him because he's just good at everything, not great at anything, not really poor at anything. At least stuff I want him to do. I don't care about heading and jumping and that sort of thing. That's not their job. That's centre-back's job. That may be a striker's job. But he's not weak at all. He's fairly quick. He's fairly good all round. So that's step one. I've evaluated him on an attribute basis. I know what he does. I know how he'd fit. I know where he'd fit. I know he probably wouldn't start, but he'd be close. For 28 million to have like a potential world-class backup, that's really intriguing. And I'm thinking now of a couple of midfielders that I've had bids on in that midfield of like 70 to 80 million that I've turned down. So if another one comes up, I could sell that one in January, make 50 million profit, and really not weaken the team. He fits my age range. I want 23s and below. He's really good now. He's going to sustain that. Okay, so it's a bit of a long-winded process, but stick with me. That's step one. Step two, report card. He's not going to want huge wages. He's not going to cost a ton. He was actually scouted 2 months ago, pretty much, so he's almost doubled his value. Maybe he wants double the wages, but again, that fits within my wage structure. That's not going to be an issue. He'd need to learn German. That's fine. He's coming from Brazil. I understand that. One-footed, I don't care. Doesn't have greatest jumping. For his position, I'm not that worried. What I do like is big matches, consistency. When they're in the pros, that is amazing. When they're in the weaknesses, I worry. The other thing I worry about is injury proneness in cons. So important matches, consistency, injury proneness. If they're in here, that's really bad. Also, let me double back and check his resolute. Okay, so that's a decent personality. It's not great. It's not bad. It's pretty decent. Okay. So he's intelligent, technical, natural in cut positions. Yeah. And he'd probably go into the core group. Again, that's a good fit. And when we scouted him, we still had Bruno, who I was sad to lose. I was sad to lose to Man City because I thought Bruno was very good, but yeah, the money was just too good. And the money was way too good. And I sold him. I spent more on Bruno. I don't think he looks as good. And I sold him for much more, over double. And again, he probably wouldn't be as good as Enrique anyway. So the scouts love him. The report shows me why. He fits. He does a lot of things that we miss, that we lack in the team. He wouldn't be expensive, either wages or transfer fee. And a player we lost that we've called up a youngster to replace, well, we could probably just replace with a first team player. That's not bad. He's level-headed, that's okay. There's no worrying traits there. So his hidden stats kind of show up in media handling and personality. You can find them both on this screen. I don't know why I dropped back. He's tireless midfielder. The scouts say he's world class. He's got no caps or anything for Brazil yet, but he's in the right place to turn into a world class midfielder. Nobody knows about him. So it's only the scouts for us that have found him a couple of months ago. Well, they found him last season, but we re-scouted him a couple of months ago. And also now Man City, Liverpool, and LA Galaxy have come across him. They want to do some business. So we know 28 million's probably going to hit. And yeah, he'll be okay. So I want to see. I just want to see. Now I'm going to add in the percentage of profit and then take it out and exclude from negotiation. The reason I'm going to do that is to stop them from putting it in. Now I'm going to offer 10 mil. Because it makes my next calculation really easy. So I offered 10, they came back with 46.5. Now we just need to meet in the middle. That's the price they'll actually take. It's that simple. So I've stopped them adding on clauses I don't like. We're just doing pure cash, pure upfront. That's how I do my deals. So 46 minus 10 is 36.5. And then we have that for 18.25. So if I go to 15, they're going to say no. 18.25 plus the 10. I forgot the 10. I did forget the 10. So yeah, we found the difference and then we got to add it on to our original. So yeah, 28.5. So I'm going to match Liverpool on 28 and see if they'll take that. But it might be the 28.5. But we'll see what they come back with. But we've fully evaluated this player. We know where he'll play. We know who he's kicking out of the team. We know why. We know when he's going to be useful, where he's going to be useful, why. If we can get a deal done for Enrique, that's not bad. So he's there. I don't need a goalkeeper anymore. I bought one. I don't need strikers anymore. I'm looking for young players that can make a deal for us. Arthur, I love Arthur. I tend to look at mentals quite heavily, and he is absolutely fantastic. The other thing which makes a good player great will be preferred moves. Plays 1-2s, dictates tempo. Absolutely love those. Absolutely love those. Tries killer balls, tries long range passes, switch ball to flank, other flank as well. I like those in a midfielder. Plays 1-2s, I like with a striker as well. Tries first time shots, places shots, I like those. Defenders, I don't know, it depends on a defender. But there are some traits I do look for. He has a couple. He would fit in really well. I love Arthur. He went to Man United for big, big money. That's fine. We don't really need him. Ruben Diaz, if he was German, I'd be all over him. But yeah, I don't need him right now, but he'd be really good and he'd be way too expensive. But he is one of the best young centre-backs on the game. Again, those mentals are great. He's not weak physically. As a centre-back, he's 6'2", that's a good height. Marking, heading, tackling are all good. As a ball-playing defender, first touch, passing, technique. Love those. Really, really good player. I do have Upamecano. He starts with the team. He's more of a physical beast than mentally, but he does really, really well. So yeah, I wouldn't be signing Diaz to go alongside him. I want a German at the back. Leon Goretzka makes it into my shortlist. Again, good mentals, not weak anywhere else. I know where he would fit. And I want him because he's German. But it might be him or Enrique. And there's no way he wins that. There's no way he wins that. And we'll take a look at why. And then we got some wingers here. Esposito. Militao. Attacking midfielder. I don't want to sign too many Brazilians, but I mean, the money's right. Yeah, he looks really good, but he wouldn't be anything we don't already have. Danny Olmo, a lot of people will get him. Flozek, a lot of people will get him. Biafore, 18-year-old centre-back, really, really decent. Low mentals. Would like to see more there. João Felix, no way I'm buying him. I try and spend as little money as I can, unless it's the best in their position in the world. And I feel I've done that with 3 players last season. I set up deals towards the end of last season. So we already spent like 300 million on 3 world-class players. I don't need to do that this year. Now it's about bringing them in. Jean Pedro could be decent though. Again, very good. Scout report says he's consistent. Doesn't say anything about big matches, but that's fine. It's not a weakness at least. Looks okay. If we did play on the wing, he could play there for us. He'd be up there with the best of our strikers. He'd cost an absolute fortune, which is probably why I wouldn't do it. Plus the fact, again, we've got German strikers. I don't really want to kick those German strikers out to bring in a Brazilian to just sit on the bench. And he would not be in the first team. So, yeah, we've got a ton of scout reports. Only one's come through, which interests me, which is Enrique. We can look on the short list. I do actually have left back Katabatch all set up, ready to bid on soon. I'm getting a new scout report because things have changed a lot since I last scouted him. So hopefully, maybe he's got better with injury prone. Maybe that'll disappear, maybe not. I don't know. He'd be a backup right now anyway. But long term, he could be a starter. So it depends if I think that will go down, because I've got a good physio department. But he's professional, consistent, and he will be a decent backup player. We also sold Sorachi, so he would slide in behind Goossens, and we'll see how well he does. But I want to get that new scout report. This one looks okay with one worry. This looks really good. He can cross and everything, so going forward, he's good. Marking, positioning, tackling, all really good. On the ball, technique, passing, first touch, all really good. Solid mentals, great physicals. 20 years of age, German. Could be really cheap. Don't know. Really don't know, but he does fit what I want to do quite well. So, he's on there. Goretzka was on there for another German to come into midfield. Again, injury prone may be an issue, but this scout report is so good. Relishes big matches, consistent, high work rate, perfectionist, international. Like, so much good stuff. If I think injuries won't be an issue. But then Enrique comes along, and I don't know if I can turn him down. Especially at the price, I don't think I can. So yeah, let's compare him to Bruno, who was with us. And I love this. I love the comparison tool for former players to new signings, and also current players to new signings, youth players to my first team players. So you can see here that Bruno is better in the air. Enrique is better going forward. It's not really what I need, but again, he's solid at the back. He's really, really solid. Not, you know, a little bit of physicality and vision, better time. Like, he's just worse in the air. So that's really good. Right there, that's really good. Okay, Bruno's first touch, tiny bit better. His dribbling was a tiny bit better. Passing, tiny bit better. Tackling, tiny bit better. Long shots, long throws, heading, I really don't care about. I'm going to ignore those. Those are the big ones Bruno wins, but to me, they're almost not needed at all. Corners isn't needed for a central midfielder. I've already got a good corner taker. Not fussed there. Penalties as well. Okay. +3 technique. Fairly important. So I'd say maybe Bruno shades it, but it's very, very close to me in what I'm looking for. Physically, better agility. Not really a big thing. Slightly better fitness, pace, and stamina. So slight advantage to Enrique. Loses a tiny bit of strength, but yeah, and jumping we ignore. Again, not used in the position for me, so not gonna worry about it. And then 4 points in bravery, 6 points in leadership. That's big, but 12 isn't really leadership. So again, that's not a huge loss there. Point of aggression, I don't care about. But 4 points of bravery, 3 points of composure, I'm already giving that swing to Enrique. 4 points in concentration, 2 points of determination, some flair off the ball for when he goes forward. Positioning's better, teamwork's better, everything else is a wash. He's shorter and worse in the air, but I think he's a better player. Position and roles, we can see what they play and how they'll fit. In the middle in a 3-man grouping's where he would be. That's fine. And again, we can then just compare basically. So that's all fine. But I'd also want to compare him with the player he'd most likely be kicking out of the team right now, which would be Dominguez. Could he kick him out the team? I mean, I don't know. That's close. Right there. I don't know. They're both going to play their position. They're both going to be amazing. They're both going to do what they want to do. Okay. Physically, gives up acceleration, wins it back on pace. That's even. Balance jumping, I don't care about. Point of stamina is not going to make a huge difference. 2 points of strength, not a huge difference, but okay, shade Dominguez as a starter, as I thought it would be. Ignoring leadership, ignoring aggression, because they're big swings, but they really don't matter. And then it's just little bits back and forth. Flair, not really for the position I want to play them in. I'm ignoring that as well. So it's really close, but again, shade Dominguez. Dominguez wins technical. So I was right in that he won't make my first team. He won't break up my first team midfield. But if Dominguez went down for the year, I'm not worried about sliding Enrique in. And for 28 million and an extra 50 grand a week or whatever, maybe 60, 70 grand a week to make sure I beat Liverpool to his signing, I want to add that. And if I get another 80 million bid for Dominguez, I can let him go. So, yeah. And the sad thing is, with Goretzka, we don't care about there really. He's a tiny bit better attacking and he's worse everywhere. Like, as much as I'd want to get Goretzka. Useless. That has some use. That's fairly useless, yeah. So the things he wins, like heading, is meh. But, okay, you know, we'll give him the 4 points for it. And then you lose it on dribbling, first touch, marking, passing, and technique, and more. Mentally, Goretzka I really, really like. But for 3 years younger, like, he's on the cusp of being as important. Leadership would be really nice. Oh my god, I might have to bring them both in. Oh, if I bring them both in, who am I selling? I've got room for one. If I brought them both in, I don't know who the second one out is. I might bring them both in. And then physically, more well-rounded maybe, apart from jumping. Again, we don't really care there. Probably Edge Goretzka. So Edge Goretzka, but 3 years of development will probably push Henrique up there. And it's kind of a wash there, but Henrique wins. So, yeah, they're very, very similar. Oh, they're very, very similar. Aren't they, though? That injury proneness, so much more money, but it would get me a German. Oh, I don't know. No. I was not expecting that to be that close. But Enrique, that's a must buy. And then Kattenberch with Gosens, who is my starter right now. You can see he's currently rated only at 2.5 stars. He's not amazing, but he's really good at what he does. So Kattenberch at 20. Like maybe a year or two behind Gosens, and we sell Gosens next year, year after. And then he comes into his own. Plus we're keeping it German. We're getting much younger. I don't think that's an issue. He can play wing back. That's fine. Stats-wise, physically, we're going to give it to Kattenberch. 7 years of difference. I'm not seeing 7 years there, so yes, Gosens wins, but it's not a big deal. It's really close, actually. It's really close. That doesn't matter. A little bit more bravery, aggression. Doesn't really matter that he's not weak in it. That leadership is meh. Bit better off the ball, bit better teamwork. But like I say, 7 years younger. That's going to get so much better. An inch in height, that's not going to matter. Free kicks, corners don't matter. Bit of first touch. Slightly better crossing, but worse dribbling. So, shared Gosens so far. Ignore heading, ignore long shots, ignore long throws. Probably evens up on marking. And then passing and tackling, take its shade back to Gosens. Yeah, that's damn close. That is damn close. And here, you can see just how close it is. Slightly worse attacking-wise. Ignore that aerial. Slightly better vision. Yeah, injury prone worries me. I think he's going to cost 40, 50 million, which I don't want to spend. But I have the money to spend. I think it's going to be 50 for Goretzka, 50 for Kattenberch, and then 30 for Enrique. I'm looking at another 130 million, which is within my transfer budget. It's going to cost me 200 grand for Goretzka. No, 150, 50 and 50. So, you know, $250,000. That's nothing compared to my wage budget that we've stacked really high up there. So I think I should be making those moves. I think I should be making all three of those. And that means I've got to decide how my midfield looks next season. And who is currently in it that needs to be left out. And also, is Goretzka as good as I think he will be? Again, we're waiting for a scout report to come back on him. 45 days. Might as well get another scout report. Probably won't come back in time. But yeah. Yeah, those are signings I like. So those are first team signings. And that was quite a bit more in depth, less theory than I was expecting. But then again, we had the opportunity present itself. And in this game, you take those opportunities. So this is just the default screen here. I've set up my own view again. I encourage you to do the same. We're set up here on the scout report so we can see where they all fall in. And one thing it's helpful to do is see who will actually join you. So you take the transfer. These are people interested in joining you on transfer. But only those that are interested. You can turn around doubtful minds sometimes. So I drop that down to doubtful. These are players that might join me. If the deal's right, if the circumstances right, if I work hard enough at it, they'll join me. We've added like Bernardo Silva, Raheem Sterling, Eden Hazard. Like, not all these names were there. We've added a few to those lists. And again, those would be doubtful loanees. But now we know there's a chance of these players joining us. It's sorted by the recommendations. I can see their abilities and potential, so I'm like, okay, Esposito would be a future signing. Kluivert would be a young signing. Vinicius, Goretzka probably not break the first team. Everybody else has a shot at the first team in there. I can see how much they're going to cost. Is there anything here I don't like? Not really. There is Luis, who's a model citizen, who's a really good midfielder that I would love to get and would probably cost me a fortune. I need to get a new scout report on him. I want to get a new scout report. Model citizen, consistent, great teamwork, bravery. Everything looks good to me. I don't know how much he would actually cost. Again, him versus Goretzka. I know who I'm choosing there. I know he's not German, but I mean, he is so good. Like, he is so good. 49 million they bought him for. And they haven't really played him. They loaned him out to Inter. Yeah. There's a chance that he doesn't make it at City, which means we might have a chance of getting him. So wait for it to reorder its lists again. So we can see they're all good players. And we can see what we're looking for. Really solid all-round kind of player. Probably be really cheap as well, 10 million or so. But yeah, we're not going to look at that so much. What I'm going to look at now is youngsters. So I'm not on about really good youngsters like Thade. So we've looked at transfers pretty much everywhere. But Thade is a good young goalkeeper. What about those that maybe don't look as good, but you think might be good? Like, he's okay. But the scout report isn't great. So why would you buy Frimpong when you've got Thade? And why have you got Neville there, who's looks a little better now, maybe, but again, doesn't look like he might be developing into anything. Well, see, I've got backup goalie options. And then I've got starting goalie options. And I've got a German with high potential. Right back, I've got a German with high potential. I've got another starting option. And I got a possible starter or backup in Sosa. And Matos probably isn't going to make it, but if so, it would be as a backup. Why did I sign Matos? He doesn't look special. Why did I sign him? Well, if you add 2 points to his mentals and physicals, and then round him up to the age of 20, does that look like a player you might sign and might play? So 11, 10, 18, 10, 8, 11, 15, 8, 15, 11, 12, 15. Like, he'd be really solid mentally. He won't be great, but he'd be solid. Like, I'd definitely play him as a backup. And then 12, 11, 12, 15, 9, 10, maybe. Maybe. So it depends on how he develops over the next 3 or 4 seasons. But if he gained 2 points, which is very, very doable in that time, all I really need him to learn is, again, another 3 or 4 points of tackling, marking, not even heading. So yeah, marking, tackling, passing, technique, first touch, mentals and physicals. If he can gain those points over the next 4 years, as 21, he could very easily be my backup right back. And he's the worst of the 4. if there's anything there in their mentals which makes me think 8 and 9s at a young age, they're very quick to go up to 10s. The greens are very good numbers anyway for a 17-year-old, but they will get much better. Marking, passing, tackling technique, first touch. Already he's got everything I need as a left back. Mentally, he's got everything I need at that age to show his pathway through. Very high determination, the max 20. Plus, above 10 in most of the key stats, or all the key stats there. So without the scout report, I knew he'd be good. Cleppert, again, lots of 8s and 9s. Not high potential, but solid physically, promising mentally, already pretty decent at some key stats technically. Because technicals you can train, mentals grow with age, physicals kind of need to be there, but they're the easiest to get as well. So I look at young players with good physicals and good mentals, even if they got nothing at all in technicals, and I know they might turn out to be something. So here, high determination, some good 8 and 9s everywhere, very good physicals, and he can already pass the ball about. Really solid midfielder. 1 star now, might be a 3-star, might only ever be a backup. But I think we can see he'll be turning into a good player nonetheless. And I don't think I spent that much on him. Yeah, 325k. And he came through at a German club and just so happens to have a German passport. So he may be Spanish, but it's technically another German. And he's 16. He needs to be at the club for 3 years before the age of 21 to gain the trained at club, which we really like. We've got so many trained at nations, but the trained at club, well, if I sign an 18-year-old, he'll get there. They might not get it. I don't think they're going to get it. They'll be trained in nation. I don't think they'll ever be trained in club, which is what I need. All of these will end up as trained in club if we keep them. Even if they're not German, don't have a German passport, doesn't matter. We got some Englishmen, we got some Frenchmen, we got a random assortment elsewhere, Estonian, Egyptian, some Italians, couple of Portuguese, and a Welsh lad. It's got to have the Welsh lad. Again, why did I buy Davidson? Well, I thought Davidson could turn into something. Maybe turn him into a striker, maybe attacking midfield, maybe centre midfield. There's options there. He's tall. He's very good physically. He has some good mentals with high determination. Great passing and first touch for a 17-year-old. I hate his low work rate. I'd love that to be a 12 or higher. I would love that to be higher. But he's consistent. He's versatile. He's resolute. He could be a backup, you know. And if not, we're going to sell him for more money than we paid. A lot more. 600,000. We keep him here for 3 years. Like he's a £7-8 million player. And that funds 10 of him. So every 3 years, one player I buy can fund 5 to 10 of them. And that's if they don't make it at the club. If they do make it at the club, then we've got a really cheap first team player. So that's how I view youth. That's how I look at the positions for each player and decide, do I think they're going to make it or not? Will they be a backup? Where am I going to play them? How am I going to play them? How do they work out for me? And will they work out? And then we spent a lot of time earlier on in the video looking at first team and how that might come together. Like, these are expensive. These are expensive. At 26, he's never going to get to that 4.5 star. He's going to get to 3.5. And that's it. He's already there. He's already there and he's cheap. So yeah, we're going to get the scout reports back and see what they say and figure out, do we mind that these two are injury prone? How much do we want to push them because they're German? How much are they each going to cost? Where do they fit in the team? Youngsters, it's mentals, physicals. And yeah, just signed to develop. We've got a good backroom staff. We showed you how to put that together in the last video. They're going to train those players up. We'll sell for a profit, or we'll loan them out for a profit. And either they make it at our team, or it's just going to be a pure profit situation. It doesn't always work out that way. I've had some big losses over time. But, yeah, this is my under-19s team. And you can see we got an absolute ton of players. How many do we actually have? I've got 55 players in my under-19s. I've got 0 currently in my second team. And I'm probably going to try and kill the second team. See if we can get rid of that for this season. And then I got 21 in my seniors. So, I've got a good first team squad. A couple of those senior team members might come back down to the under-19s. We've got a ton of players. Some will make it, some won't. We haven't broke the bank at all to do it. In fact, we're making money hand over fist. Since I took over the club, selling first team players, getting prize money, selling some first team players, but then spending it on new first team players, and then selling first team players while getting new players back in. So you can see where we're buying, where we're spending, where it's going all over the place. But yeah, I think we're going quite well. And I didn't want to buy more this season, but Karabakh makes sense. Youngster goes down, Karabakh goes in as backup, Gosen gets sold, and Silas, the youngster, comes back up to play backup to Karabakh next season. Enrique comes in, youngster goes down. Maybe I sell a first team player to bring that youngster up for next season. Maybe I don't. And then Luis is going to cost the earth. I need to make sure he's worth it if I really want to do that or not. On top of Enrique, I'm pretty sure I'm getting Enrique now. So can I make another one work? And if so, is Luis going to be worth the money? Because by God, he's going to cost money. Do I believe him the best central midfielder in the world? That's my question. Because that's the money it's going to take. And then do I think Goretzka is going to be worth it rather than buying youngsters? That's his question. And then it's the pros and cons between Luis and Goretzka. Which really, Goretzka's only real one is he's German and he's physical. And that's it. So, I think that's a losing battle. But we'll get those reports back and decide. So, it's the way I look at the team. How I scout players. How I set my assistants out to sort of handle some stuff, my chief scout to handle some stuff, and they've each got their own areas, and I let them do that, and then with the information they bring back to me, I'm able to put things together. And then I can make the actual decisions. But let them do the legwork. That's what they're there for. As Klopp was saying, I need geniuses around me who are good at the things I'm not. I've got those, let them do their job. I then make the decisions because I'm actually in charge. I'm the manager, the head coach. I make those decisions. But I can't do the legwork. I need the best to do that for me. And when you set it up that way, hey, you get in this position where you get your options. You get your options. So, we've looked at buying to sell players, buying to loan players, buying to develop youngsters, and as I say, how I go and compare players. I love this. I absolutely love this. If I make sure Goretzka's in that list, and then go to Luis, and put Goretzka in. Okay, so it's not as attacking, but he's much better mentally. He's superbly superior defensively. He's a little bit more physical. He's not really short. He gives up a couple of inches, but he's not short at all. Doesn't matter, doesn't matter. Tiny thing, doesn't matter. So 3 points to Luis. Doesn't matter, doesn't matter. Well, I'll give him half point there, so that's a point. 2 point difference, I'll give him half the points. So that's +3 down to a +2 for Luis. This is kind of how I do it sometimes. +7 with the marking. +11 with tackling. +10. So that's, even though you look at that and you say, Goretzka's a better technical player, most of it really doesn't matter. And the big gains only put him at a 10 or 11 or 13 or a 9. Like, don't get fooled too much by these bars. Make sure you're looking at the right stats and make a decision. Luis kills him, technically. It's not even close for me. In the position I went into play, it's not even close. Mentally, okay. 2 points of work rate. That's big. I'm going to give him an extra one on top. That's 3 points to Goretzka there. Teamwork, we're down to 1. Positioning, yeah, they're going to be the defensive out of all 4 midfielders. That is pretty big. So, yeah, that +1 now becomes a -5. So, again, 5 points to Luis at this point. Off the ball is going to be useful as well, though. So that's, +2 to Luis. A little bit of leadership. I'll give him half of the points there. So that's, what was that, +2? So I give him 3 there. Down to 1. So 5 here. 2 evens. But I'm only giving him half points. So a point to Luis. That's right. So then 2 points to Goretzka. Give him back. +5. +9. And I'll give him a point for aggression. But meh. Aggression really is meh to me. So yeah, +8. So he's +10 technically. He's +8 mentally. He's 5 years younger. He just ain't German. If he was German, oh my God, this wouldn't have even got this far. Because I want to establish Germans in the German team, basically. So that's why. Acceleration, 2 points. Agility, I'll give you half points. That's another 2 then. 2.5. Yeah, 2. So that's 4. Half points there, so that's down to 3. Half points here, so that's 5. So 3 to Luis, 2 to Luis. So yeah, physically it's a lot closer. Physically it's a lot closer. It's a slight win to Luis. That's a medium win to Luis. And that's a big win to Luis. +5 years younger. But he's not German. He's going to cost the same wages, and he's probably going to cost double the money. That's 50 million. I think Luis is 100 million. Money doesn't really matter, so Luis is okay there. We've got enough Germans in, plus we've got young Germans coming through. Okay. But do I want another midfielder? I don't know. I do not know. Oh. I do not know. I take my time on these decisions. Is it either or? It might be either or here. It might be either or. It might be Luis or Enrique. At which point, we need to know how much he is actually going to cost. So we're going to add that in, remove it. Okay, let me put that up to 50 million. 99. Well. So we're probably looking around the 74 mark. We're probably looking at about 50 million for Gretzka. And only 25 extra for Luis. We're looking about 30, so we're over double for Luis. I was expecting 100. Oh, I don't know. Yeah. Those are going to contracts. Those are going to contracts, and I'll decide then who I'm kicking out of my team. Oh my God. Luis would be amazing. I didn't expect to find Enrique and like him so much. But if it is one over the other, and the extra 50 million is not going to be missed, better vision, better speed, better technicals. Okay, so Enrique doesn't get blown away here, but great mentals, defensive, physicals, and I might miss that more in the team I've got right now. I've got a lot of this side, I've got not a lot of these, so okay. Share Louise. This is going to be a long video because this is important. Now I've got everything in play, now you can afford to really scout your play as well. And this is what I do. This is what I do. When making these decisions, like, it takes a while. So 1 point, equalized, ignored. 1 point, given back. So +2 for Luis. Physically, they're both great. Physically, they're both great. I can drop a youngster. Do I sell a first team to bring them both in? I think I'm sold on Luis now. So it's about, do I fit Enrique in or not? I think that's what I am, guys. 1 point, 2 points, 1 point, 3 points, 1 point. Only going to give him half points there, so 4. So he's +4. Only going to give half there, so +2, +3, 5, 7, 9, 11. And I'm just going to ignore that. We're already +11. Yeah, so +2, +12. I'll give him a single point there. Why not? And then, technically, don't care, don't care. So, +2 for Enrique. Don't care. So, +1. Don't care. Evens. +1 for Luis. Evens. Don't care. +4. That's +2 for Luis as well. Oh, it's so close. It's a lot closer as well than I expected. Like, that's how good Enrique is. Luis is showy. Enrique is sneakily good. Sneakily good. They would both be fantastic segundos if I wanted to go down there. He'd be a better fit. He'd be okay, though. And he is absolutely phenomenal. And he's really, really good. Oh, my God. I was sad to lose Bruno. They both put him to shame. I mean, I might have to find room for both of them. I might have to find room for both of them. When's that? January. We'll delay Enrique coming in. Bring Luis in now, drop the youngster, and then decide over the season if we want to sell someone, or if someone wants to leave, or we get a big bid that's too big to ignore, and know that Enrique will be coming in for next season. I think that works out. And I think we're done on Gretzka. And hey, maybe Enrique wants to go to Liverpool instead. But Luis is a deal I have to do at 75 million. I have to do that deal. He is so good. I think I have to. And Catabatch is a deal I probably do as well. But again, that depends on the cost. Right now, it's probably going to be too high. Maybe we do that one at the end of next season or in January, depending if he wants to leave or not. That might help us out. So yeah, we'll slow burn Catabatch, but probably not going to go in for Goretzka. We're in for Luis now. We're going to set up Enrique for the end of the season and see if he wants to join us over Liverpool and see where we go. But there we go. An hour looking at some of the youngsters, some of the theories, and what I look for, how I set things up. You could see that in the staff and everything else anyway. But when you've got those reports, you can go to them at any time. Players scouted, you can go to these at any time and just pick and choose. You want a midfielder? There's midfielders galore. You want a centre-back? Hey, look, Ruben Diaz. Spend 100 million, get in one of the best young centre-backs in the world. You want a really good striker right now? Firmino's there. Like, Kluivert's there. If I want to go back to wingers, I'll just put bids in on Kluivert, on Urzi, on Vinicius, and on Dembele. So, like, 200... About 300 million it would cost me. So I'd need to find that, but I'd also be selling midfielders. I'd be able to make up the other 100. Like, I could get 4 wingers in and dump 2 central midfielders if I needed to. So, all my options are here. They're not going to go on the short list and get crowded or anything, but they're here. And I can always rescout them and make sure. And I can always decide they're not going to be good enough. But they will all come. They might need convincing, but they will all come to me. And that's just opened up a whole new level for me to try and put the team on this year. So, wow. Didn't expect that, but what an interesting video for me. Hope it was interesting for you too. This will be my one and only long-ass video in the series. But yeah. That's taking advantage of what we set up beforehand and knowing our tactics and setting up the backroom staff in a way and the responsibilities. Like, all that's come into play to get us to this point now where it's just a wish list. What can I get? What do I want? And know what makes sense. And again, even now that I've got reports, I'm still going to go back in and ask for new ones, even in the middle of negotiations, because I need to know if they still hold true. Especially these ones. They're like a year ago. 2 months is okay. A month or below is better, so we're going to get new ones anyway. But, yeah, we'll see how that all works out. And if need be, I'll delay the transfers until they come through. You can delay for like 2 weeks normally. So, yeah. It's going to be about it, guys. Thanks very much for watching. I hope you made it to the end okay. Like, comment, subscribe. And, yeah, I'll see you in the bonus part 6, where we head to the bedroom. Wow. We head to the boardrooms where we head, guys and gals. Can head wherever you want, though. Don't let me stop you. But we're looking at boardroom requests, talking to them, seeing what you can get out of them, where to push them, where to back off, setting your budgets up, looking and overviewing your objectives, what you can ignore, and what you probably need to stick rigid with, and how to judge your performance based on the feedback they give to you. So that'll wrap us up for part 5. Look ahead to part 6. Any other parts you want me to make or go over other things, let me know in the comment section below or at Chris Orme on Twitter. We'll get there. Until next time, though, y'all take care of yourselves and be good.